question that Xi Jinping is more powerful in China than Donald Trump is in the United States, because in the United States we have the separation of powers, we have the rule of law, we have federalism, we have all the things that they don't have in China. And in some ways, Xi Jinping is the latest emperor, going all the way back to before the 1949 revolution. China has long had a very hierarchical system of government. In some ways, the Communist Party just grafted on communism to the old imperial structures, whereas the United States has been from its very inception not just a democracy, but a democracy limited by the rule of law and by federalism. So there's no question, in terms of centralization, Xi Jinping wins.
Does that mean he is in a better position for the trade war to get what he wants from it?
No, I don't think he is, because in some ways you have to recognize there's a certain weakness to Xi Jinping's position. The Communist Party's legitimacy depends principally now on its being able to generate economic growth. And when I go to Beijing, and I go there often, I'm very struck by how worried the political elite is that if it slows down significantly, they may suddenly find themselves facing one of those great upheavals that have characterized Chinese history all through the ages. They worry about how long their dynasty is going to last. Whereas in the United States, I'm struck by how much popular support there is, and it's bipartisan, for standing up to China. On many issues, President Trump is not a popular president, that's clear. But interestingly, on China, I think he struck a chord, and it's a chord that resonates with both Democrats and Republicans. And what started out as a rather eccentric position, remember early 2016 when he was going after China, it seemed like a very idiosyncratic strategy. It was certainly at odds with the American political and economic establishment. But over time, I think more and more people have got on board with this. And President Trump has found a weak spot. This is one of his superpowers, the ability to detect weakness in the opposition. And I think he found that Xi Jinping's weak spot was this.
Begs the question, can China deliver enough for an actual trade deal that will be appropriate and be agreed upon by President Trump and this administration?
Morgan, I doubt it. Consensus is that there is going to be some kind of trade deal this year and quite soon. I'm doubtful. I think the most that the Chinese are going to get from Robert Lighthizer, the US trade representative, is an extension of the ceasefire that means that the tariffs don't go up even higher on Chinese imports to the United States. If you look closely at these negotiations, what has happened has been that the Chinese have kept making offers, particularly to reduce the bilateral trade deficit, that have not been good enough for Bob Lighthizer. And Lighthizer is an extremely tough negotiator. As long as he is calling the shots, and it sure isn't Steve Mnuchin, as long as it's Lighthizer calling the shots, I don't think there's going to be a trade deal, because I don't think the Chinese are prepared to give him the things that he wants. Major changes to their Made in China 2025 strategy, for example.